Jessica Jones Season 2, this is our review. Today I've got with me my beautiful wife Kirsten and obviously me, Ruben. The reason why I've pulled in my wife is I felt like I needed it. I've already done a review and I failed at it miserably, so I started again and called my wife for help. So, Jessica Jones Season 2. First, you need to know about Season 1. We're going to do that really quickly. So, Kilgrave was the main bad guy from Season 1 and was played by David Tennant, who was amazing and, in my opinion, the best Doctor.
Oh, lovely.
Doctor Who. And I didn't...
Though he wasn't Doctor Who in this.
No, he wasn't Doctor Who in this. I didn't think he could be a really good bad guy. In fact, I never really pictured him as a bad guy because he was such a good guy.
Next person whose phone rings has to eat it!
And then I did see him as Kilgrave in Season 1, and from episode 1 of Season 1, we were hooked.
Everybody quiet!
Jessica Jones, at the end of Season 1, she defeats the bad guy, but in order to do so, she has to become what she's always feared. She is a person with powers, so she has super strength, and she has to kill the bad guy. And I think the whole of Season 2, well, what we've seen so far of Season 2, she is trying to deal with, trying to wrap her head around, trying to figure out her identity. Am I a murderer because now I have killed using my special powers? Or am I justified in what I did? And so she's battling this sort of inner monster within her, trying to figure out who she is and what she stands for. Am I a good guy? Am I a bad guy? And her life is sort of kind of in a mess, even more than it was before. Yeah, so she is a private investigator. She has her own little company called Alias Investigations, and she works out of New York City, and she's just, you know, not trying to be a hero. I think that's what's really interesting about her character, is although she kind of is a superhero, she's really an anti-hero because she doesn't feel like she's a hero. She doesn't feel like she's necessarily a good guy. And she's struggling with the fact that now that her name is out there as someone who has powers, has abilities, the kind of clientele that she's getting in is people who are desperate for her to be a hero for them.
Yeah.
This super vigilante shit keeps coming at me.
To, like, you know, solve their problems and fix what's wrong with their situation. And so she's finding that really, really tricky and difficult. The way that the writers described it, Season 1 was all about her head being controlled by a horrendous, tormenting, manipulating, abusive bad guy. So it's all about her mind and her getting her mind back. Season 2 is all about her heart and figuring out who she is inside and sort of character development.
Giving a shit won't get you a better tip.
From what we've seen of Season 2, we've been given 5 episodes, so we haven't seen the whole lot. We've been given 5 episodes from Netflix and production notes and stills, and so we've got an overview of what we feel like the series is going to be. And for me, what I saw in Jessica is that she's more messed up dealing with the aftermath from what had happened in Season 1. And this makes her moodier.
Much moodier. Yeah, they call it an emotional journey. I'd say, just before we sort of delve into that too much, in terms of what you can expect, it looks the same pretty much as Season 1. So if you do a direct comparison, the colour palette is the same, the style is roughly the same, locations are pretty much the same, wardrobe's pretty much the same, lighting and shots and, you know, all of that. So actually from that point of view, I was really pleased that they sort of carried on the whole. It's got a, I mean, it is based on comic books, but it's got a very noir sort of feel,
very.
Which I really liked.
Knowing what was done to you might help you.
I struggled with it. I had to watch the first 2 episodes again because I thought it was really boring, and
say what you feel, hey?
Yeah. And that was only because it's, although everything's structured the same and looks the same and feels the same, it feels to me much slower.
Yeah.
And I think the pacing is different.
Yeah.
And because she's so much moodier and the pacing so much slower, they've definitely taken a different tack to what Season 1 is. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, I think.
I have 17 years of questions, and they are deep.
I think if you're expecting a sort of wild ride, then maybe think again. At least for the first few episodes, it does pick up an arc. It does have a new bad guy. It does know where it's going, but it's taking its time getting there. And that's why I think we could really say it's all about character development, season 2.
Yeah.
So even the supporting roles, so Trish, who is Jessica Jones' sister, Malcolm, who's sort of made himself her partner, even though she says he's not.
You're fired.
Yeah, she
Constantly.
keeps firing him and he doesn't leave. And the lawyer lady, whose name I can't remember now.
Trinity from The Matrix.
Yeah, Carrie-Anne Moss.
Dodge this.
Hogarth.
Yeah, I
her
think it's
name?
Hogarth. Yeah.
So those 3 characters have a lot more development in the story as well. So it's not just Jessica who's discovering her heart, really. It feels like a bit of a Wizard of Oz thing. It's these other characters as well that have been much more fleshed out, much more well-rounded. There's all kinds of emotional things and plot developments and story developments that are around Jessica Jones. So it's not just her story, it's kind of like around her as well. There's other people's stories that are being told, and that may also contribute to it feeling like the actual story is slower, because we're spending more time delving into each character's backstory.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the fact that this time round it seems that the team is a big emphasis on the Jessica Jones. So rather than it just being Jessica Jones PI, it's Jessica Jones PI and her friends, and her team, and they're making sure that they really are going to be a part of her lives and what she gets involved with, rather than just kind of being on the sidelines and being affected by it, which is what kind of happened in season 1.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know. Depends on if I can get through this night without losing my shit.
I don't think that Netflix went out of their way to say we're going to do this with only women, because that's not the case. As they went, from what I understand, as they went through the recruitment process to hire their directors and heads of department, etc., they came across incredibly talented women, and they ended up hiring, it seems, mostly women. In fact, all 13 episodes are directed by women.
Yeah.
And the writer is a woman as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so before you go on a big, power trip of, it's just woman, actually she is a phenomenal writer.
She's well respected in the
and
industry.
very, very well respected. Yeah. I think my issue is that at the moment it seems like Hollywood is trying to redress an imbalance. And I totally get that, because it has been horrendously imbalanced for such a very, very, very long time. My issue is I don't want women to be getting gold stars just for being women. I want people to be recognised for their talent, for their ability, regardless of whether they are men or women. But I understand that at the moment women need to be given more opportunities to actually get in there and shine, because previously they weren't even given the opportunities to do that. So, well done Netflix. I applaud you for what you've done. And action!
And I wish we could say that we totally loved it and it was amazing, but as it stands at the moment, for me personally, I don't know about you, I'll wait to see what the rest of the episodes show us, because it's a different tack, it feels different, they are fleshing out the characters, which is a good thing, I think, but I think they might get there. It's because of the fleshing out of the characters. I don't know why I'm doing the characters. Yeah. They're real characters.
Yeah, they're real people.
Real people.
So if you can adjust your expectation and realise that you're going a bit more on an emotional journey with the characters, you're going to really discover what makes them tick and who they are, go through some of their struggles with them, then I think you'll start to enjoy it. So by the time we hit episode 3, I was actually starting to enjoy it more.
Yeah.
And I think that if that's the sort of projected track that it's going to take, then maybe by the time you hit episode 6, 7, 8, 9, you'll be like, oh, this is riveting, this is amazing. And I'm really hoping that that is the case. I
hope that is the case, because I know they're really championing women in this, and I think that's fantastic. But I feel like as the guy, and I don't feel like I'm emotionally stunted. My wife can tell me it's a bit slow for me, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
It's
a bit slow for me too.
I loved Iron Fist. I know a lot of people didn't, but even that was slow for people. And comparing this, it's different. So we'll see, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it is a wait and see.
Yeah.
We're really hopeful. We understand that they've put so much thought and so much depth behind this that I really want it to succeed. I really genuinely want this to be a massive success, and I'm hopeful that it will be. But we were slightly disappointed with the first few episodes.
Yeah. And before I wrap up, I did want to say that the female leads
are amazing.
Like, there's nothing wrong with the directing, acting, cinematography, photography, the look of it. It's the same, but it's all good. The acting
really good.
is all phenomenal. They're all great in their parts.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's just the story. It's like the little engine that could. You know, it's just getting going.
It's revving up.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, you can do it.
So the ending better be damn good.
It better be. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be.
Let's hope for a Kilgrave 2. Kilgrave's son.
Son of Kilgrave.
Son of Kilgrave. I like that. Yeah.
If you say with great power comes great responsibility, I swear I'll throw up on you.
Thank you so much for watching this review, and I hope you found it informative and not too long-winded like this series might be. And do check out our other reviews coming up. We've got one called Annihilation that Netflix is releasing. Do check that out. So Jessica Jones Season 2 is out on the 8th of March, which happens to be International Women's Day, which I think is purposefully done by Netflix. Well done. If you're new to us, do subscribe and hit that bell, and...
Live long and Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Sorry, I really can't do that. Can we do it again?
Yeah.
There we go.
And live long and Tuesday. That's so funny.
I need time to get my mind
If
to
you were actually a Vulcan,
I would
you'd be like,
I'd be a terrible
you're
Vulcan.
failing at the beginning.